people always ask me, what makes a great leader? Or what's the role of a leader? One of the common answer that I always hear, leader's role is to achieve results. Leader's role is to focus and achieve results. Yes, leader's role is to be able to accomplish results. But is it the only thing that you need to focus? Is that the absolute focus of the role of a leader? What is important, I would believe that in our framework, the RBL framework in the VUCA world, it starts with you as a leader, not anybody else. You need to ask yourself this question. How are you placed to be successful in the future? Are you ready? Do you have the skill? Do you have the set of competency that we talked about earlier, the 5 pillars of competency for the next gen leadership? The emotional social intelligence, the cognitive readiness, the critical thinking, cross-cultural communication, and so forth. Now, do you have it in place? What about your team of co-leaders? And co-leaders are people who works with you, what we used to call the direct report. So, but remember, you cannot execute a strategy. You cannot execute successfully if you do not have a group of team leaders who is able to help you to achieve that, to accomplish that. So we believe it's critical to have this group of team leaders, and we have developed the framework called SCORE, which, as I said, we will talk about it during one of our next webinar. So this start with number 1. So how do you focus on yourself, your team? How do you create a climate of trust, which then leads to an engaged employee who wants to do it, serve you, not because they have to do it, because they want to do it. When they come to a stage of enlightenment where they feel so delighted, they want to serve the organization because you treat them fairly, you treat them with respect, with dignity, and they will go out there and serve their customers, your customers, and the customers will then be retained, and through the customer retention that leads to the organizational results. So again, the result is a lagging indicator. What is important for us as leader is how do we develop ourselves and our team to move towards a state of employee engagement, and then that leads to a customer engagement, which then leads to achieving organizational results. So that together is what we call the results-based leadership. Now, early this year, in February this year, Executive Development Associates, our CE partner in the US and CE, we have launched a global survey worldwide. We're looking at what are the competency that leaders need to develop in the future. So this survey has been going on for 30 over years. Every 2 years is a biennial exercise that EDA does globally to look at the competency. Interestingly, for 2016, we have found very, very interesting observation. Let me just share with you a little bit about the findings of the survey. Now, one of the, of course, the finding is about how do you now continue to have a very articulate mission and vision from your organization mission and vision, and how do you then look at responding your customer changing requirement? How do you respond to the changing customer requirement? How do you prepare? Interestingly, one of the third challenge that leaders are going to face is to be prepared for the VUCA world. And fourth, in terms of competency, is important here is that the rise or the emergence of what we call the cognitive readiness competency. And the cognitive readiness is defined as the preparing a state of mind, the mental agility to face the uncertain world, the VUCA world, including your critical thinking, emotional intelligence, learning agility, and a host of many other set of attributes that leaders need to demonstrate. Now, what does it mean? Because of this research, we have now developed a series of programs that we have launched worldwide. One of the endorsers of this program, our research, is Jim Kouzes. Many of you probably heard of Jim. He's the author of the book called, the bestseller called The Leadership Challenge. Jim has endorsed our research and our findings that he uses our finding to be able to develop executive development program for his client worldwide. So it's a strong endorsement of our finding, and therefore it means that competency like cognitive readiness has been acknowledged to be critical to succeed in the VUCA world. But let me take some time to share with you the difference between critical thinking and cognitive readiness. In our program called Leading the VUCA World, which is a masterclass, we talk about the differences very clearly through case study, because one of the challenge I found that people generally tend to confuse critical thinking is important, which critical thinking include your strategic thinking, innovative thinking, lateral thinking, and many others competency that's related to critical thinking, which is important. But what is more important is what we call the cognitive readiness. Now, what it means is that are we ready for mental agility? Are we able to think differently to face the challenge in the VUCA world? So in cognitive readiness, it's about uncertainty, preparedness to face uncertainty. And this is the challenge that leaders has today. Most of us do not have the skills. It's about how do we develop attentional control, about being focused, being present. How do we develop the ability to the learning agility? How do we be prepared to change the way we develop strong partnership and collaborative and so forth? So I will not go more into that, so you can go to our website and get more papers on there's an article that we published, Leading the VUCA Business Environment. You can get a copy of the paper from our website, ce-global.com, and you can read more on that. So I will not go into that, but just to focus on this seven competency of cognitive readiness, have a look at our paper, and we will, and we can discuss and in our next.